Sip it like it's coffee. Yeah.
Welcome to Sip It Like It's Coffee.
Hey, episode number 5. Thank you for joining us for another episode. We're glad you tuned in. Today, we gotta introduce ourselves. Who are you, man?
I'm Big Mike.
I'm Brian. And we're just regular people like to talk about whiskey. You know?
Regular people.
Mike runs, obviously if you made it to this page, you know that Mike is a grill master and leads BZQUE.
BZQUE.
I'm just a poet, singer, songwriter, and I just happen to like whiskey.
How do they find you?
Who find who?
How do they find
you want to find me on Instagram, on the Insta world, briansuperboliva, B-R-I-A-N, the word superb, and my last name is O-L-I-V-A.
And you can find me on Instagram at BZQUE, BZQUE.
Hey, so all the semantics aside, today we are talking about Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest. What can you tell us about Uncle Nearest?
Uncle Nearest has a fantastic story. I think as a poet, as a storyteller, I was really drawn to this because Mike first introduced me to this at his house. He gave me like a little breakdown, but when we did a little research, man, there's a beautiful story attached to Uncle Nearest. He actually was a slave in the 1800s, owned by, who knows, some slave master, and who actually hired him off to a distillery and a whiskey distillery master named Daniel Call.
So Nathan Green, aka Uncle Nearest, who was owned by another slave owner, was commissioned out to, what's the pastor's name?
Daniel Call.
Daniel Call, who was a pastor, by the way, who had a distillery. So Nathan Green, aka Uncle Nearest, went to work at this distillery, and he came up with this technique where you take old maple trees, the charcoal from a maple tree, and would filter the whiskey through charcoal. Hence where Tennessee whiskey comes from.
It's a popular technique now.
Right.
And he's kind of been given credit for that technique. And on top of that, who shows up at this?
Who shows up as this little kid?
Young Jack.
So this little kid named Jack, you know him today as Jack Daniels, was hired by the pastor to go and help Nathan Green, aka Uncle Nearest, because he was doing everything by himself. So through that whole process, years and years of working with Uncle Nearest, he taught young Jack the whole process and how he did it. Of course, as a slave, you don't really have the privileges to purchase land, let alone purchase a business. The people of that church got tired of that pastor distilling whiskey and hated on him and said, man, you gotta get rid of that. So when young Jack got of age, guess what he did?
Bought the distillery
from that pastor, and he kept Nearest on as his master distiller.
And as they have it, like apparently Nearest's kids and his grandkids, all the way up to pretty recently, were generations of his family still working for the Jack Daniels distillery. So
still working for Jack.
It was pretty crazy. But
and it's pretty ironic to have you as an employee of Jack Daniels, your great grandfather came up with the technique for the way they're making their whiskey, yet you're getting a minimum wage salary. you gotta call in to take lunch.
There's the honor of working for your great grandfather's distillery, or where you used to work. But there's also that, like,
ownership privileges for you.
But they get honored. But Uncle Nearest got honored with his own bottle.
But now they were working there before, because Jack Daniels does not make Uncle Nearest.
Right.
Jack Daniels does not make Uncle Nearest.
So who does?
Whiskey. Well, they have their own distillery.
Yeah.
So, long story short, along comes a woman named Fawn Weaver. She is an author out of New York, did some research, and found out about Uncle Nearest, and came out there to Tennessee. Come to find out, like, people knew who these people were. Like you're in Tennessee, people know that your great grandfather or whoever your descendant is taught Jack Daniels how to make this whiskey, and they know who you are, and you're working for them. That has got to be the most ironic
some of the stuff
thing
I read,
ever.
they were saying that, I mean, everybody knew the story. It wasn't a secret how Jack Daniels learned how to distill or filter. He just didn't give him props.
Right. How do they keep that away from the general public? Like people in the U.S. outside of Tennessee had no clue.
It'd be almost like, let's take LeBron James. So let's say somebody trained him, taught him basketball, and LeBron James never ever spoke his name. And then someone did some research and said, Big Mike trained LeBron James.
Yeah, I trained.
But never got no props.
No props.
But they might have made him a jersey one time, and this is the jersey right here.
We got his jersey. Yeah, but Jack Daniels had to ante up.
So they did get
Well,
some money.
they got.
I thought they weren't giving no money at all.
They got what they were owed, and Fawn Weaver started. She's the CEO of Uncle Nearest Whiskey Distillery.
It's something. They have a distillery. We'll figure it out. Let's put it right here.
It's in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's Green something.
I don't know the name of it, but
For Greenville, we're gonna put it right here.
Yeah,
Every time we mess up, we put the real thing right here.
Yes, sir. It's a Tennessee whiskey, and we've already poured some. We let it air out. We're going to give it a taste test for science, of course.
For science.
Science.
Actually, I took a little baby sip for a second.
I haven't had any yet, but as you can see, I've had this before. Readily available across the United States. So, man, let's get into the nose of this thing. We'll tell you exactly what's going on here. So, like any typical Tennessee whiskey, right off the nose, I'm getting a lot of sweetness, a lot of corn. I am getting some alcohol, ethanol.
Definitely getting an ethanol punch in there.
And
I'm getting some oaky, real, along with the sweet, because you do get a lot of sweet off the bat, but there is getting some tree type, Thanksgiving type notes in there.
Okay, I'm also getting some corn off of the nose as well. And as you progress in your whiskey journey, you're gonna learn how to catch these little nuances. If your brain has never computed you smelling what sage smells like, when you smell sage, you're not gonna know what it is. So just experiences in life that you've smelled things, when you nose a whiskey, your memory serves you. You might smell Cracker Jacks, or you might smell like for instance, you ever had Flintstone vitamins?
Yeah.
So remember that and smell this. Do you get Flintstone's vitamins off of that a
There's
little
a
bit?
little Flintstone in there.
A little bit of Flintstone's vitamins off of that, a little bit. Now I can't say whether that's good or bad. I used to tear some Flintstone's vitamins up. Hopefully this doesn't taste like Flintstone's vitamins.
Mike spiked our whiskey with Flintstone vitamins.
Spiked it with some.
Trying to tell me something, I'm malnourished. But it smells, it knows great.
Yeah.
Shall we give it a taste?
Yep, I'm gonna give it a taste.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's a little stronger than it's 100 proof.
This is 100 proof.
We didn't talk about that. You could taste some of the 100 proof whiskey you tasted, hide a little bit. This one tastes like 100 proof.
You definitely got a little punch on it.
Got a little punch.
But it does not have a long finish.
No.
Once you swallow it, it pretty much, it leaves. I'm not getting that Kentucky hug or the Tennessee hug for a matter of drinking Tennessee whiskey. I'm not getting a Tennessee hug off of this. It's not bad.
I never use dry to describe whiskey, but this does have a bit of a drier finish. I normally when I say dry, I'm talking about like wine. But is dry a thing? Because I feel like the dryness that I get from wine is the same thing I get from this. It's sitting at the top of my palate.
Almost like a Sauvignon Blanc type of dryness. If you like wine and you like Sauvignon Blancs, this kind of has that dry note. There's something else I'm not getting here.
It's definitely delicious though. This should probably pair really well with like barbecue. I mean, what have you made barbecue with this?
I've never had barbecue. Honestly, I don't drink a lot of Tennessee whiskey outside of the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof that we tasted in episode 1.
Yeah.
But this is not a bad whiskey. Now,
absolutely not.
Are there better whiskeys out there like this that did not cost $50 to $60? Absolutely yes. You know one of our favorites.
Evan Williams.
Evan Williams Bottled in Bond, which is 100 proof. This is not bottled in bond, but it is 100 proof. Yeah, the next episode that we do, we're probably going to do a blind taste test between Uncle Nearest Tennessee whiskey, Evan Williams. We'll do that, and maybe I have a George Dickel bottled in bond. And it's $43. So the cheapest bottle that we love, $17. I'm telling you.
So we're gonna put it up. We're gonna try it out. Blind taste test.
Taste test.
We're just gonna see which one pairs up to what, which one tastes better, which one we like. Because again, this is for regular people. We want you to go out and hear it from somebody that doesn't just talk your ear off about the technique. And we just want to give you a little history test. We want to tell you what we think about it. Especially
during these days and times where most people of color think they don't have anything associated. Because you normally don't hear about people of color in this industry. Okay? When you think of whiskey in this industry, when you think of Jack Daniel, you normally don't think of an African American person or somebody, let alone black, Mexican.
Actually said that Uncle Nearest is the first African American to have his name on a bottle of whiskey, a bottle of attached to a distillery.
Nice, and he is the inventor of that whole Tennessee whiskey process. So
shout out
to Uncle Nearest.
Shout out to Uncle Nearest.
So, hey, I like it.
I like it.
Is it the best for the money?
We'll find out.
We will find out. If you like this content, smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. Share this video with all your families and friends.
Until then,
guys, this is Sip It Like It's Coffee.
Yeah.
Take it soon, guys. Cheers.